Welcome, welcome to the LA Soccer Hub podcast. This is your host, Gio Garcia. Today we have another episode. We have another great live stream going on here. We got my man Gustavo helping us out. He's doing his thing. How you been, Gustavo?
How you doing, Gio? Hey, everyone who's watching this. I've been doing great. Thank you for having me once again. Back to I would say a little of normalcy because soccer is coming back, sports are coming back. We saw that European soccer is back, so I'm really excited to get this going. The brand new news from MLS that they'll have the tournament after agreeing with the players, and I'm excited to be here once again and talk about soccer.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on, a lot of stuff. Obviously, news broke last week that the MLS is coming back. Starts off July 8th. All the way to August 11th when the champion's going to be crowned. So you also got it's going to be intense. So I kind of just want to go a little bit of the breakdown. Obviously, to see what we know. The first three games are going to count towards season games, which I think are the most important games to a majority of these teams. Not only that, this is a CCL berth, a Champions League's berth, which is pretty cool. They had the draw last week. That you kind of could say to an extent
Yeah.
it was, do I dare say, rigged? You know what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of stuff kind of just going on there. But we'll pull this back up. So you obviously got in Group A, you got Orlando, Miami. Well, the thing that was interesting about Group A was that right before they announced it, they sent out an email that Miami was going to be part of Group A. So that wasn't really so much of a drawing, I guess, like a unanimous drawing, So then
Right.
so it's kind of interesting how things started off. But then they also drew NYCFC, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Nashville. And on Group B, you got Real Salt Lake, Sporting KC, Minnesota. Group C, you got Toronto, New England, Montreal, DC United. And then Group D, you got the Sounders, Dallas, Vancouver, San Jose. Looks very favorable for Seattle in that group. And then Group E, you got Atlanta, Cincinnati, the Red Bulls, and Columbus. And then we come down all the way at the bottom. Bottom right, you got LAFC, LA Galaxy, Houston, Portland. They're calling it the Group of Death. It's just going to be exciting. What do you make of all that? The groups, the setup, and the way it went.
Yeah, I mean, it was something to see the Orlando versus Miami game opener. That's where it's gonna be taking place. You have to favor the home team, as you would say, kind of like a little World Cup style. You have the whole month for the tournament, the group stages, then you have the round of 16s and so on. But yeah, I mean, we kind of pretty much saw that LAFC and LA Galaxy was bound to happen in the group stage. I
Yeah.
think those are the I mean, that's the hottest LA derby, the derby out there right now. So El Tráfico, people are gonna want to see that, and will just after what happened last season, especially when LAFC eliminated Galaxy out of the Western Conference semifinals. So it's good. It's gonna be intense to see how these two teams face off again, especially after being off for almost 3 months already.
Yeah, it's been pretty much 3 months since like March 12th. Just a lot going on there, and yeah, I kind of almost wish that the MLS didn't do a drawing. I mean, I think
Right.
obviously they did it because of the sponsors, and the reason why I say a live drawing because of the way they did it. They had the little eggs in a carton, and it just looked, I don't know, it looked goofy, if that's a word to put it. It looked very goofy to me. I don't know. Would you think of, like, you have Charlie Davis right there? He was like picking it out, and like, come on, I think they
Yeah.
gotta try a little more. Like, if you're gonna, like, in a way skew it a certain way, you're gonna get certain, at least get more creative. If you want
Right.
LAFC and LA Galaxy, make it suspenseful, make it so at least people were like, is this rigged or not rigged? Like, it kind of, like, you kind of, I feel like, I don't know, it was just like, all right, you know what? makes sense. You do it, but like at least I like to be surprised a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was like we said, it's something bound to happen. Two of the most important franchises in MLS. You got the five-time MLS champion Galaxy, and a team that made history last season, LAFC, the most points record on a single season. I believe it was 74, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's interesting to see how these two teams will play out. But I think, yeah, it's the group of death. You have also Houston and Portland, who are teams that will give trouble to both teams. We saw Houston drew against LA Galaxy in the second game of this season, 0-0 draw. I'm sorry, a 1-1 draw. So it could be pretty good matches on that group.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention, obviously, they call it the group of death. So just to elaborate a little bit more, so Group A, let me pull this back up. So Group A is going to have 6 teams. As you can see right there, you have 6 teams, and all the other teams are going to have 4. So if you look at the interesting thing here is like Group D and Group E, only 2 teams are going to come out from those groups. Everybody else, Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group F, are going to have 3 teams come out of that. And I don't know how they pick Group D and Group E. That's just the way they decided to do it, and that makes sense, I guess, if you do the numbers. The teams are able to move on to the next round. Which is the next round, the round of 16s, and then you got the quarterfinals, and then obviously the semifinals. Obviously, with 26 teams, you're obviously going to have one team that's going to be off. And I think that's why they did it. Obviously, as the league is still growing, and you don't have an even number, like say like 28. If you had 2 more teams, it would have been even up evenly. You had 7 groups of 4 or whatever. But this is just the way they did it. And what do you make of that? Like that Group D and Group E are going to be the only 2 teams. Are going to have only 2 teams advance.
Yeah, I think that's how they pretty much set it up. As you see the teams, some of the teams that do make a lot of noise from Group D is Seattle Sounders, which are the current champs, and I think San Jose, because of the history that the club has, and I think those 2 teams will be, in my opinion, coming out of it. But I wouldn't be surprised if FC Dallas comes out of that group as well. And as for Group E, yeah, you have Atlanta, who's a great team, surrounded by great players. And although I don't think Joseph Martinez will be back for the tournament, but I think they still have a powerful, strong 11. And as for I think New York Rebels will be the other team coming out of this Group E. Cincinnati, as we know, they had I would say a horrible dream start in their debut last year, finishing last in the Western Conference. So I think was it Western Conference, Eastern Conference? I forgot. But,
I agree with you. Cincinnati just
I didn't have that expectation or that firepower like like the other teams did, like LAFC, Atlanta. Those. So I think it was bound to happen. I think the other groups have more probabilities to have.
Yeah, and I agree on that. So we'll just go back on. It's going to be tough for them. I mean, all those teams in Group E are very tough compared to Cincinnati. And then you look at Group D, which we were talking about. You have the Seattle Sounders, who are very top heavy, and obviously the favorites will go down. Like I think that Group D, that Seattle and Dallas are going to come out of that. And then I also think in Group E, I'll agree with you that Atlanta and the Rebels will come out of that. You go to Group F, you got LAFC, so 3 teams. I say both LA teams, LAFC, LA Galaxy, and I give it to Portland to come out on that group. The Group A is going to be interesting because you can have I mean, if you're gonna have three teams, say a lot of them they tie because